Hi, everybody. My name is Carl Bush. I'm currently the merchandise manager for Knott's Berry Farm in Anaheim, California. Think of it as 6 miles away from Disneyland, but a whole might as well be another world away from Disneyland. So today we're going to be talking about e-commerce and how important it is, especially today, especially after COVID. So let's jump right in and go to our first slide. Now you're looking at a little dog, which is not mine. I basically have corgis, but anyway, but that gives you the idea. So as I said, I'm Carl Bush. I have been in the industry for over 35 years. And what I basically have been doing is I do a lot of product development, merchandise management for zoos, aquariums, science centers, theme parks around the country. I've written 2 ebooks. I've written a children's book. But the main thing is I've been in your business. From gift shops to department stores to a dog chewing on a bone. We're not sure. Anyway, so I know what you're doing and seeing where the trends are going right now. And I think that is the biggest fear that's going on today. Let's just, for example, look what's going on at zoos, aquariums, and science centers around the country. They're fighting not just the lack of attendance, but this thing that's popping up, which is what they call the virtual museum tour. And people, instead of just going to the museum, you can go through the whole museum and have the experience by just watching it online. And they're very worried about that and how they're going to get that experience to be really, really impactful to get the customers back in. The big question about a lot of this came originally from it came from when people were going out and doing, like going out and getting selfies. We ran the Sears Tower, the old Sears Tower, which is now the Willis Tower in Chicago, and people were all into just getting their selfies and leaving. And there's a roundabout bus that goes around all around the 6 iconic locations in Chicago. And instead of doing all those attractions in 2 days, people were doing all in one and just basically coming in, getting their selfie and leave. So this is kind of the next version of it. They've kind of dumbed down their own experience. And so now people can do things virtually. So the thing is, how do we get them back into the store? How do we get their attention again? And that's one of the things that we're going to be talking about today with a new way of trying to do e-commerce so it works. So let's jump right in. So, and we've talked about this, if you saw my last seminar, we talked about these things before. And it's all about pivoting and execution. And in this line is in the last 12 months, COVID advanced the customer movement from brick and mortar to the web, and they moved that whole thing ahead about 10 years. And now we're scrambling to get the customer back. And that's going to be the whole thing. I was lucky. I mean, I run a theme park that closed. But what happened is we were on our 100th anniversary, and I had talked to people into, let's do a 100th anniversary. We'll do the 100, collector pins of Knott's Berry Farm, and we'll launch them every week. So I had started in January of last year, moving to say on Saturday we'd launch a new pin. We would have 800 people waiting in line to get the pin, and it was great. And then how we were able to pivot that was when COVID hit really bad on exactly March 12th, when we actually had to close down. I was able to pivot all those customers to the web and execute the sales that way, but it wasn't easy. We went from a website that did $50,000 a year to a website that crashed because we were doing 400 or 500 transactions in one day. And we're still scrambling because I work for a major corporation and they're going to do it in their time. But we're part of 17 parks, and we were the only, after all these years, we were the only park that still even had a website going. And it was a very basic website. If you go onto the website now, you're going, it's really basic, but that website is going to be close to $1 million from 50,000. So the traffic was enormous going in. So that was how I pivoted, but there's other ways. That's just one story, an example of that. So the idea is retail is entertainment. We're in the entertainment business if we like it or not, and we have to execute it online and in the stores. And this is in my opinion, this is the end of the general merchandise assortment. This is what's going on now. This is highly specific, directed retail to your specific customer. My average customer is in their 40s. They have 2.5 kids. They don't want to spend a lot of money. We're a very inexpensive theme park. We're 6 miles away from Disney. You could come to our theme park for $99 a year for the whole year to come in. Disney, $999 to $1,499 to get in. And so it's a whole different experience. We're a little small community theme park, around 6 million people. So it's one of those things. We were built 30 years before Disney was even around. And the two owners, the Walter Knott, who owned Knott's Berry Farm, and Walt Disney, knew each other. They used to go out for Chinese dinner on Saturday nights and talk about the theme park business and all that sort of thing. So what you want to do is if you see the thing is, you see retail entertainment, but you see that other slide, and that is part of Galaxy's Edge. And that's a very shallow store. It's probably approximately 15 feet deep by 30 feet wide, highly curated for that Star Wars customer. So that's what you're kind of thinking about. When you're thinking about when you're doing your assortments and that sort of thing, this is going to be the new normal. In a way, you're your own theme park. You have your own special themes that you do. You focus on those themes and you maximize your customer experience using those types of themes. So let's show the greatest example of how this is pivoting and how this works. And I know people say, everybody always talks about Disney. Well, nobody has done it. I mean, I'm in the collector pin business. I sell X amount of collector pins, that sort of thing. I do all the pins myself. Disney has 45 people doing this, the same sort of thing that I'm doing. And they're very, very successful at it, even 22 years later from when they started it. So when you look at their websites and that sort of thing, this is how Disney does it. Of course, they have a lot of IP, intellectual property to use. So it's much easier than me with, I have a mule, a burro, and we invented the boysenberry, so I'm very tight on themes. But if you look at their website, their website is very, very basic. I mean, it's nothing that exciting, but they load that website with every single new item that they have. They do the same thing with their stores. Everything goes to the website, everything goes to the stores. So that's where they start. Now, a lot of people would say, well, that's kind of where everybody ends. This is, this sort of thing. Also, when you're building your websites and that sort of thing, look at Disney and look at Amazon. Amazon has a team of people, apparently 2,500 people inside their organization, and they look at the font, the size of the offer, the colors, the backgrounds, everything involved in that. And you're like, it's Amazon. It can't be that sort of thing. But when you're dealing on that kind of volume, when you're dealing in billions of dollars, if you can increase their percentage just slightly by changing the font, maybe increasing or decreasing the size of, they're basically the font size of the pricing on that sort of thing. Those little things matter in this kind of business. So when you're looking at examples, as you're building and if you're building your websites, you're trying to redo your websites, look at Disney and then look at Amazon. I mean, take a hard look at Amazon inside the categories that you do, and you might emulate some of that because they're using real live experience and challenges because they test the reaction on every item. If they have that mug that's in the corner for $16.99, they'll show that mug in different things at $12.99, $14.99, $16.99, different different ways, but they'll be able to see, they'll be able to gauge, they'll be able to see how customers are reacting, even just to the verbiage. So there's a lot of things that you need to look at in these sort of things. Then this is Disney's biggest non-secret, is they let the fans do all the heavy lifting. This is all about their ambassadors, their bloggers, their vendors, everybody who's in this business. This USA Shopping is basically a Hong Kong-based organization that shop basically the Hong Kong Disney, and they resell that because Disney uses the Hong Kong and Japanese parks to test everything, because the Chinese and the Japanese are rabid Disney fans. They love Disney. So they basically test everything out. And also their licensing restrictions on the items that they do are less involved in foreign countries as they are in the US. US and England and Australia have the hardest, tightest licensing agreements for these sort of companies. But when they go over to Hong Kong, when they go to Japan, a lot looser. They can do a lot more with the IP or the intellectual properties that they have. So these guys are posting online everything. So that person's in that jacket is in the basically the Hong Kong Disney store with that. They take that, they put it online, they mark it up, and they resell it into the US market. Or because remember, the Disney fans are rabid fans. They want that Winnie the Pooh pack. They want that before anybody else, before they can get it into the US. They want it now. And you're saying, oh, Carl, that's crazy. It's stupid. I wish I was. I wish I had that. I wish I was that crazy. Okay. So it also works for, Donnie and Burke is, a regular line. That Instagram feed is coming in from one of the super fans, the ambassadors, the bloggers of Disney, and it's directly going right back, and it has links back to Donnie and Burke, who actually sells this thing. So you could buy it at the Disney store, but you also could buy it from the direct manufacturer. And the ambassadors and the bloggers and all that, they're incentivized as they keep bringing their followers, their posts, their followings along with them. And it's a complex system on how they get paid, or if they just get merchandise. These are a bunch of amateurs that are doing it, but if you look at how their posts and how they hashtag and all that sort of thing, that's how they attract the business. So when I say the heavy lifting is done by other people, all they have to do, Disney, is just have to put it online, and they do all the magic for them. So, and it's amazing. So, and it goes on and on and on how, but when you're looking at things like this, what you would want to do is like, okay, I want to do, in my store, I would like to show an end cap of something, a new end cap, a couple of t-shirts, and see how it goes and that sort of thing. If you look on these sort of sites, you can see how many likes they get. You can see the comments that they make. So the thing is, customers, when you're building your own website, you don't have to do a static thing showing things just item after item. Of course, you want to do that, but you need to bring in this lifestyle feel. So what we're talking about when customers are coming in and doing this sort of thing, you want to have that lifestyle feel come in along with this, because this is the reality. Customers, just having that guy's hand on that phone cover, basically, it kind of gives it more credibility than just showing it as a single item. So that's why these bloggers and these ambassadors and this sort of thing work so well for this sort of thing. My dog is crying. Just let me go. Yeah. Go. Dogs. So let's move on. Also, they incentivize people this is on Disney's website. What they like to do is have certain items shown with other things. Like basically that's showing, that's a postcard of the Galaxy's Edge. They want you to print that out and post it and share it to them. This thing is right on the Disney website. They're trying to get you to share things. And I'm going to show you the ultimate sharing thing that they do. And if we all could figure out how to have this one item do this, and I showed another person how to do it and it worked, it will be magic for your stores. That item is the child. If you know that, if you go on to Disney Plus or the Disney Channel, it's, you know, the Mandalorian and all that sort of thing, the child. So this one that you're seeing here, you can buy this at Walmart, you can buy this everywhere. They dress up the child. They put them in little vests, they put the pins on them, they take them out, they show them at Disney. This is what they say. So Disney would like you to take that little postcard and move it around and show it like the child basically kind of spreads, you're spreading the word for them. These are the super fans. Now I live about 2 miles from this place. The super fans are amazing because I get super fans myself for like my pin program and stuff. It's that Comic-Con kind of customer. These guys, most of the guys are really into this sort of thing, but these people are the ambassador of their brand for them. And they're taking one of their items and personifying it. It's a piece of plastic, a little, you know, cartoon thing, and it's something like this. Now you're saying, Carl, I can't do this. I don't even know what the hell you're talking about. Well, think about this in your own store. Now I just had a dog in here, but he went a little crazy. But a lady asked me, because my first question to you, I said, what is your child? What could you do to personify something to bring more customers in? And she said, I don't know. And she says, but that dog on the first slide, but I have a little Yorkie that would sit next to things in their store. And she says, I could have him sit and I could take pictures. So she started moving that dog around and just, you know, say, oh, I got this new, you know, end cap or whatever. And she just took a picture of her, the dog next to it. Just because the dog was next to it, people started responding that way. Does it seem a little hokey and that sort of thing? Well, welcome to the entertainment business. I mean, you're in retail-tainment. This is basically the connection between retail and entertainment. I mean, I work for the Home Shopping Network. I mean, half the pitch is trying to, you know, just not sell, you know, Casio Magic Light keyboards. It's the story and the whole bit, and it's the little dog sitting there. It's the same thing here. You have to have a gimmick. You have to have something. So when I ask you one thing is, for yourself, what is your child? What is your thing that you could do around your store to make it funner than just showing an end cap of merchandise or just showing, oh, I got this new thing in? You know, you know, they have him eating, drinking coffee and all that. I mean, he's with a brand new one of these ones here up on the top. He's sitting there. That's the new Disney Christmas sippy cup. So he's sitting there with a 1999 sippy cup, and people are looking at it going, oh, wow, maybe I should just buy the sippy cup. It sounds crazy. We're in a crazy time. This is what you do, crazy stuff. So where do you start? You start with your super fan. Everybody has super fans. And when we're 100-year-old theme park, we said, oh, how many super fans do we have? So the first time, as I said, we had 600 people waiting in line to get my #1 pin for the thing for $6.99 or whatever it was. And so I got called by a woman that I've known for years from D23 over at Disney. And she's like, what in the hell are you people doing? You know, what's going on over there? And I said, oh, I started a pin business. And I had started a pin business before. And the thing is that it didn't work. So what I had to do was I said, well, this one, I had to make it. So that's why we introduced the pin every week, give them something to talk about every week. And so when we started that, she says, well, basically what you do is you count how many people come into the store for like this big event, this something that you did super special. And then she says, you basically multiply it by 2 or 2.5, and that's how many. So we're figuring we've got around 1,500 people that will buy anything, and it's kind of proven itself. I consistently sell X amount of pins a week, and it's been working for over 54 weeks. I mean, it's really crazy how long it's. So those are your core people. Those are your super fans, and those are the people that are going to. They're going to be so important as you journey into this next new world of, social media. Let's keep going. So but we're also retailers. So you have to give them a reason to buy. If I'm working at a nonprofit, a zoo, an aquarium, a museum, it's all about your mission, saving the animals, saving the earth, saving the planet, that sort of thing. And that's your mission. Or if you have your own store, it's going to be more about your new collections, the things that your new collections, that sort of thing, and your custom ideas that you can do. This is not the time to get into a lot of generic merchandise. This is very specific, this is a very specific thing. Yes, this is more towards themed locations and that sort of thing, but people are, if I can buy this just on Amazon, should I buy it from you? Unless you do something else. If you do it that way, you need to think of other ways to do it, and I'll show you how to pitch that after this. Now, this is one of the big things that's coming up. If you see on the top left, you see the website. That's your static website that you see everywhere. Right next to it, I put a little barbed wire fence, because basically that's where usually the conversation ends. 99% of all things that go on at Amazon and probably, most websites end here. So I look at the website, I'm either going to buy or I'm not going to buy. Boom, there's not going to be any difference. This next part comes in is when a customer wants to ask a question. On some of the newer websites, this is a program called usehero.com, which is basically it's a clienteling app and a program for retailers. And so what it does is when the customer asks a question, you can now answer the question via text, or you can go to a full video conversation if you want to, if you're like, well, I don't like that shoe or that blouse, but here's some options, and your employees can take their phones, walk around and show the customer options. This is what they call clienteling. It is bringing the conversation from the static website to the store. And that's what you want, because this type of program has shown that once you've had this kind of interaction with your customer is basically almost 5 times more likely to come back into your store, because they've already set up the relationship. This may be more of a relationship than they ever had with you, but now that you can climb basically, or basic curating the assortment, it's a personalized shopping. My brother works for a very high-end branded retailer. This is what's keeping them afloat. Clienteling. Now, you don't have to, I have nothing to do with this company. I'm not endorsing anything, but look at the aspects of this, how this can work. This program itself can be incorporated within Shopify and that sort of thing. So there's other ways that you can incorporate a system like this. At least this gives you a way of looking at how this could work. Is it easy? No, this is not going to be easy, but this next step that we are going to do is not going to be easy. So this is something that we just moved ahead 10 years, moving more people to the web. This type of program right now is going to be something that you need to have in your arsenal, so you can move the customer this way. You need to start the conversation. You have to reconnect with them. get them back in here. So think about this, because this is something that is going to be important to talk about. One of the biggest aspects, and I'm living this weekly, is what we call feed the beast. And feeding the beast is you have to keep posting, reposting, and that's why you have ambassadors. That's why you have people that are, going to be talking about your store, and that's, that sort of thing. You want to be, there has to be a lot of sharing. This is where your employees become the ambassadors. Your employees can help you with that, especially if you have younger employees that are really into, posting and going on Instagram and Facebook and that sort of thing, and showing things online. Because these are very simple kind of images and that sort of thing, but you've got to feed the beast. If you just post once or twice and you don't repost again, don't even start. Don't even do it. Turn me off, forget the whole thing, and we'll just talk about something else. This is something you have to really get into. This is something that you're going to have to believe into, and you're going to have to lean into. And is this easy? No, I mean, it's not easy. Is it cheap? I don't know how much that other program is. I don't know how much it's going to cost. It's not, but the thing is, the technology is not that. It's not that hard to do. So these are some of the things that you need to kind of think about. Who's my customer now? And you now have to go back and really look at who are your super fans. Who are these people that have always, they just love you and they're going to continue loving you. How are you going to connect with them? And how are you going to find out what they really want now? And this is, that's why you have to kind of start the discussion. This is about discussions. And then how can you direct the sale? The directed sale is as you're showing that end cap of whatever. Think of the Amazon and Disney sort of background things that they do. This is a great test site for you. So you could say, oh, this is my new thing of, blouses right here. Do you guys all like the style? They're going to tell you like that if they like it or not. And this is going to way that you're going to be able to test the waters. I was even thinking, because I used to go to something called a trade show. I used to go to a lot of trade shows and that sort of thing. I think that it would be great to, show some of these things before you even buy them. It's almost like a pre-sale. It's like, I'm thinking of bringing this in. What do you guys think? And that sort of idea. How to entice them, with web exclusives, upsells, and bundles. The thing is that we know most of it's bundling works, buy one, get BOGOs work, upsells work, just so they're natural. It's not, you have to make sure that they're natural, it's cool, and you have to give them a reason to stay. I mean, I worked at Home Shopping Network. We sold a keyboard that everybody on the planet sold. But wait, there's more. You get the keyboard, you get the pedal, you get the extra book, you get the microphone, you get the whole bit, and for the same price, and you can make 4 easy payments. So come on, it's, in a way, that's kind of what we're into. You can bundle, you can make exclusives, and you can definitely make web exclusive. You buy this online, give them X amount percentage off. Give them free shipping if you can afford it. Do I give free shipping? No, I can't give free shipping. It's too expensive. But what I do is I buy it down. I like to send out my pins, but it costs me $2.50 to send out a pin. So I'll buy it down to like $1.50. So I can add that to my cost of goods because I have the margin in there. So the thing is, think about that. So, and lastly, give them no reason to click away. After all this work of getting them onto line, of living and talking to you, don't give them me. Don't be non-responsive. If you're going to be non-responsive, don't start. If you're not going to do this, just don't put up an ad without posting about what you're doing, because customers want to know what you're doing because they've been away from you. All they've been doing is going to Walmart. It's like, and it's after a while, I mean, that's ingrained. It only takes 18 days, it only takes 3 weeks to change a habit. We've been basically locked into these little prison rooms for almost a year. So the thing is, You got to get them in the habit of coming back, and you got to tell the good story. Don't be whiny and stuff about it. Be exciting about it. That's what the whole thing is about. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's the story. If you have any questions, I'm more than answer. I can try to answer. I'm not super technical on things, but this is not about being just technical. This is about storytelling. Thank you very much, and I hope you tell a friend if you like this. Thank you.
Thank you, Carl. If anyone has any questions, you can put them in the chat box, and we'll wait a minute to see if any come through.
Sorry about the dog.
That's okay. It's always a little entertaining. All right, well, it doesn't look like we have any questions, but if you do have questions later or would like to set up a meeting with Carl, you're more than welcome to reach out to him in the marketplace. Thank you, everybody, and we appreciate you taking the time to join us.
Thank you.
Thank you.